India is looking at strategic autonomy when it comes to defense capability, but so are other countries looking at and looking to India to make in India, manufacture in India. And in that, we're being joined by the ambassador of Spain to India. Many thanks for joining us, Ambassador Sir, Ambassador Jose Maria Ridao. Let's begin with the bid. Now, L&T and a Spanish company are looking at bidding for manufacturing in India, and the things that they're looking to and looking at are submarines. So what and how is Spain better than the other bidders?
No, I have a lot of respect for all the bidders, and I think it's good for India to have so good bidders. So this is the first thing, and I completely respect. I think we have several elements which make our offer very convenient. The first is that it's a state-owned company, so it's an engagement of our government to go ahead with this program, first of all. The second element is that the proposal of the Spanish offer is the most advanced in the world. So the question is that it must be sea proven, and we are working on this, but the proposal does exist, of course. Sometimes there is some confusion about this. And the third element is that, of course, there is a commercial element coming to India, this particular India. But in our case, it's not only this, it's also a diplomatic will to be present in this part of the world, in the sense that we consider that we contribute to the stability in the Pacific, because being a small country, we have a very well developed technology, and it's a good opportunity for India to have this to have access to this technology without engaging its strategic autonomy.
You make a very important point on technology, Ambassador Sir. So will there be complete technology transfer? That's something that India has been focusing on. There are two aspects. One is make in India, and the other technology transfer. Are both being promised by Spain?
Yes, of course, and it's not the first time. We have an old program, which is the 56 planes by Airbus Spain. And we are proving that we are engaged with this idea of making in India and to transfer technology to India. So this is the second time, and I'm sure that it will be a great opportunity for both of countries to exchange these views. Because, as I said, the more India will win stability in this part of the world, the more Spain will be a part of this development and this peace development in the world.
India and the Indian External Affairs Minister have been pushing for strategic autonomy, that India should be deciding and choosing countries that they want to deal with. How does Spain sit in that framework of strategic autonomy of India?
Yes, the idea is that Indo-Pacific is very far from our interest, in the sense it's strategic interests. But at the same time, as a country of our side, we would like to contribute as much as we can to a moment of the world which is really complicated. And through India and with us and with this cooperation, we consider that stability will be great, will be bigger if we are present in this way without affecting the balance of power in this region, giving India access to this technology, to transfer this technology to India without engaging the strategic autonomy of India, because we don't affect the balance of power in the Indo-Pacific, is a good reason for both of us to consider this cooperation.
Final two questions. The fact that we are witnessing a war in Europe, the Russia-Ukraine war, which has tipped the balance when it comes to food security, energy security. How does Spain then look at India as a military power, as a strategic power, and as a balancing power in a world that's much divided today?
Yes, Prime Minister Modi told that it's not time for wars. And in fact, as Europeans, we prefer India not to consider a military approach to this war. There is enough armies there are enough military fighting. We need to convinced Russians, to convince Putin to hand back Ukraine, because it's the basic rule for international cooperation and international stability, to respect international law, and President Putin didn't respect this. So trying to convince them, trying to go ahead with this idea of coming back to the day before the invasion will be a great support from India.
Right, and final question, any decision when it comes to a diplomatic one, a strategic and defense one, also has to do with political decision. Politically, how are the leaders and the leadership of Spain looking at India, looking at Prime Minister Modi and the Modi administration?
Yes, we as a sovereign country, we don't have opinions about the governments in the countries. The only thing, and in India, particularly because it's a democracy, we are ready to have the strongest relation possible with India. In Spain, we will have elections in 2 weeks back, but the most important thing is that the consensus among all the parties is that India is a very important partner in the world. So our main priorities are Europe, of course, Mediterranean area, and Latin America. So those areas, and particularly Latin America, is a good field of cooperation between India, Spain, and of course our Latin American friends, because it's not a question of being the leading country, because it's not like this as the Ibero-American community works. We are partners, but we would like to help India and to help us and to help our Latin America colleagues to be closer.
Ambassador Jose Maria Ridaome, thanks for joining us here on India Today. Wishing you the best in your bidding for a contract with India. That's the Ambassador of Spain speaking exclusively to India Today. In New Delhi, this is Geeta Mohan reporting for India Today.